I'm here with my guy Turkish. We both witnessed another Arsenal win, this time a 2-1 home win against Wolves. Turkish, got to get your thoughts on the game.
3 points. That's all that really matters, right? I mean, if I start talking about fluidity and all that, people get a bit upset about it. But I get it.
But talking fluidity, I thought the first 15 minutes was super fluid.
And that's what I'll start with. I mean, the first 15 to, I think the first half of the first half, we were quite good on the eye. It looked like we could score 3, 4, 5 goals in that first half. It was only to be 2.
So that being said, are you like me, somewhat a little disappointed that we didn't really go on and nail it the way that first half suggested that we might?
I'm not, You're
not?
Okay. It's 3 points for me. So at the end of the day, I haven't been impressed in an eye-catching, exciting type of way the majority of the season from Arsenal.
Because for me, this game was kind of reminiscent of the Forest game in a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Insofar as we went 2-0 up, looked like we were, if not coasting, fairly comfortable. And then lo and behold, we concede a goal. Yeah. And the last few minutes, you're thinking, oh no, this could go wrong.
Very similar circumstances to that one where we controlled the game really and truly. We should have put it to bed, but we conceded a goal. And I won't say it's all hands on deck because even when we conceded, I didn't really see Wolves scoring. I mean, we pretty much handed that goal to them. I mean, Zinni had one of his many moments in the game of madness.
It wasn't his best game.
Nah.
But although going forward, I thought he did look good.
Yeah, he got an assist. And for that goal, I think he played a very big part. I wanted to lean more on Jesus for the 2 goals because Jesus' name won't be in the goals and assists column, but Jesus was the key part of both goals. The way he took it in from Saka for the first goal, a couple, rolls on the ball, I'd call it, holding the defender off, lays it into Tomiyasu, into Saka, goal. The second one now comes into him, quite fast pace from Zinni. The way he just lets it bounce off the inside of his foot, perfect for Zinni, into Odegaard, another great goal. So Zinni
talking to Jesus, did we see the sort of pros and cons of him all summed up today? Insofar as you quite accurately described there, his work for the 2 goals, sublime skills, great thinking, great creativity, but then he has a couple of opportunities himself that he should really have taken that he didn't. Does that kind of sum up where we're at with Jesus at the moment?
Pretty much, and I'm not going to say that as a dig at him because I knew the player we were signing. He's not a finisher. I think.
Well, he said so himself, right?
Well, he said so himself, and a lot's been made of those comments. But that comment wasn't news to me, and it shouldn't be news to anyone. I just think in the football world now, especially online, people like to pick at things like that and make it more than it is. The reality is, he said scoring's not his strongest point, and the reality is, every fan would say scoring's not his strongest point. He's not a finisher, but what he brings, very few strikers can bring at the highest level. He's just got a quality on the ball. He's got an unpredictability on the ball that no other Arsenal player has. Yeah. With Martinelli and Saka, you know what they're bringing. Martinelli wants to drive. He wants to get his head down and run into space. Saka wants to be a bit more methodical with it, cut in, maybe use someone 1-2s and all that. With Jesus, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
You do know you're going to get an abundance of quality with him. So regardless, he didn't finish the chances he had. I think he should have at least finished one. That one where he was kind of coming through and then he hit a weak shot reminded me of the Eddie one against Brentford. But I think
I knew it wouldn't be long before you mentioned it.
I'm comparing it. But the back post one, I think he thought Gabriel was going to get something to it. That put him off a little bit. All in all, I think Jesus had quite a good game, and I'm glad that he came off early, protect him a little bit, because off the back of this latest injury he's been playing non-stop from Brazil to us. So he comes off and rested legs for the Luton game.
Any other standout performance for you today?
I mean, Declan Rice goes without saying. That guy, I mean, he steps on the pitch 7, 8 out of 10. I think I said that after Brentford too. I think Tomiyasu, again, deserves a special mention. I think the last few games he's been immense. Unfortunate to see him come off injured. Hopefully it's not a big one. Muscle injuries tend to be weeks. But with Tommy, they tend to, be months, whatever he has. So hopefully he bounces back pretty swiftly, because this season, if you ask me who our best fullback is, I'd probably lean towards Tomiyasu, and that's either side. He covers well for Zinchenko. He kept Zinchenko at the side recently, and he's been keeping Ben White at the side. So Tomiyasu's a top player. We just need him to get over these injury bumps.
Yep, no, I agree with a lot of what you say there. Tomiyasu has looked outstanding in recent games. But I do think if Ben White does come in, he'll be an adequate replacement. Going forward then, we've got Luton coming up this week, midweek, Tuesday to be exact. Would you make any changes to the 11 today? I mean, obviously Tomiyasu it might be that he's not available,
Yeah.
so we'll have to make that change. Anywhere else that you would make changes?
Aside from what seems like a forced change with Tomiyasu, I guess the other question would be Trossard or Havertz.
What was your thoughts on Trossard's performance today? Because I've got to say, I thought he was below his normal high standard today. Other people have said that he worked hard and he did more than enough. Where do you stand?
I think somewhere in between. I don't think it was a game where you pick out Trossard and say, he deserves a mention. But I also don't think it's a game you pick out Trossard and say he was very poor. I do expect a lot more. And I think for what he can bring and the quality he has, we didn't see enough of him. He had cute little touches here and there. He was an outlet at times. But overall, I was pretty excited to see Trossard play the 8 recently. I just haven't, left the game feeling like he's locked that position down. So he needs to work on it. But I also look at Trossard as a great 12th man.
Yeah.
He seems to be the one, since he's come in, that off the bench he can provide for us, and if we need someone to fill in, he can provide for us. So I think whether he starts or whether he comes off the bench, I'm more than happy with Trossard. Havertz, I guess a lot of question marks about why he didn't start. He's on form. He's got 2 and 2. I expect him to come back in against Luton.
I think it was Robbie that was making the comment on the Starting 11 show that the manager may have chosen to not start with Havertz because with a view to starting him against Luton on Tuesday, where he's expecting a bit more of a physical game.
Yeah.
And I do think could be some truth to that.
I think so, and we'll probably need his aerial dual winning abilities against Luton a lot more than we would have today against Wolves. So that probably makes sense, and it's a good place to be in. Now, listen, we can talk about Havertz all day long, we can talk about Trossard all day long, but it's a good position to be in that we're able to rotate now and still win games. Last season, that was a big problem towards the end of the season, but that problem really reared its head earlier on in the season when we pretty much could pick the starting 11 week in, week out. Now there's a few question marks in there. Majority of positions pick themselves, and I think Arteta does want to take us into a place where the majority of the positions are competed for. But at this moment in time, I'm happy that there are positions like right back or left back where we're saying Tommy should start, Ben White could start, Zinni could start, we want Timber back, or the 8 position where no one's locked it down, but Havertz starts, we win a game. Trossard starts, we win a game. So I think it's a good place to be in at the moment.
Yeah, I would agree. And I just want to say in closing, projecting forward then, and given the way we're playing at the moment, the way things are going results-wise, are you happy with us as a title challenger, as a as a team that could go on and win it? Or you think we're in a good place right now for that?
Yeah, I do. I've had concerns about the playing style, but we're top of the league, so with all due respect, fuck my concerns. See, I can be as harsh on myself as I am on others sometimes, because it's the truth. I mean, why would I, I've raised concerns. I still don't think we're the most exciting, but the only thing that matters is where Arsenal are in the league. And we're top. Where are we in the Champions League? We're through with a game to spare. So all in all, these concerns don't matter. At this moment in time, I don't think we've found fourth or fifth gear yet, but we're top of the league. So that bodes well. I mean, if you look at Man City over the years, they tend to start slower and really pick it up. Yeah. Now, I'm not comparing ourselves to Man City because the proof's in the pudding with them. You look at their CV, I mean, they've been immense over the last 10 years. But last season...
Which is why I asked that question, because I'm just thinking that, okay, we've spoken many times on shows like this about fluidity and where we are this season compared to where we were last season. But overall, going forward, you think we're in a good place in terms of winning the title?
And that's why I want Tottenham to beat City. I don't know why it's a question for, I've been asked on a couple shows now on the watch along. I want Tottenham to beat City. I want Tottenham to beat Manchester City. Who are Tottenham to us apart from a local rival that caused some noise over recent years? They're nobody. But we're going up against Man City. Yeah. So really and truly, I mean, I got to put that rivalry aside. And I use the word rivalry loosely because it's not a rivalry built on any competition. It's a rivalry built on the areas we're in. And we're looking to open up a real rivalry at the top of the league with Man City. So with all due respect, Tottenham, cute, Ange, mate, all of this stuff. I don't mind if they pick up the win against Man City. I want Tottenham to beat City because that'll help us. I mean, City don't tend to lose much more than 3-4 games across a whole season, 38 games. They're currently on 2 losses so far this season. So I'd wonder what another loss would do for their confidence and their, I don't know, questioning
Well, we put
themselves.
a bit of pressure on them now because obviously we got our game out of the way. We won it. We're top of the table, down by 4 points. They have to win tomorrow, and I would imagine that Spurs will give them a good game. So
I've
you
got
know.
my doubts. I've got my doubts. I mean,
After all that, now you're thinking
yeah, because of the way they set up and Ange plays and the philosophy.
high line
I
Ange.
can see them really opening up, and with the players Tottenham have missing and the players that are coming in for those players missing, I think Haaland could have a field day. But I'm hoping that Tottenham can do something. Listen, Tottenham win, a draw, I'll take either result.
Okay, it's interesting. Got to close on that note. Thank you very much. As
Lovely.
usual, interviewing you is always honest, forthright, informative, and entertaining.
Love,
well
love,
done.
love.
Respect.